Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the flaming hot grilled cheese burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you again.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Really, guys?
What? Jackson's always has those game ready.
Let's go!
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Kenzie with Boise State Soccer. When I moved to Boise, I thought I was ready for anything. Training, no problem. New teammates, bring it on. But driving on snow and ice, yeah, that was a whole new challenge. Here in Boise, winters mean real weather. That's why I'm so grateful for my Ford all-wheel drive. If you're new to Boise or just ready for a safer winter, head to Lithia Ford of Boise. Come check out the full lineup of all-wheel drive vehicles at Lithia Ford of Boise. And when you buy here, you're supporting Boise State athletics. Come see us at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RoadPaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Good morning, Bronco Nation. How we doing? Welcome on into a live edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at bronconationnews.com. My name is BJ Rains, and this is Bronco Nation News Live on a Tuesday morning. We're powered by Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. You can check them out online at lithiafordboise.com. We appreciate, my hair's all messed up. Well, appreciate Jim Sturk and company for their support of Bronco Nation News. New pre-owned Ford vehicle, get out to Lithia Ford of Boise online at lithiafordboise.com. Jay Tust is going to join us here in the Sun Cruiser Studios shortly, and we'll talk about tomorrow night's matchup with Utah State. We'll take a look at the current Mountain West standings, what the tournament would look like if it started today, and some other odds and ends from the weekend. Hope everybody had a good President's Day yesterday. But as always, we'll take your comments, we'll take your questions, we'll take your shout-outs. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know how you're feeling on this Tuesday morning. And appreciate all of you here at Bronco Nation News. Yes, there is a countdown to the show starting. So we have 3 minutes of commercials, which make this show free for you to watch here on YouTube. So, and then we get into the actual show. So if that's a problem for a free show to watch a few commercials, then feel free and find another daily morning show that talks Boise State sports. Hint, you won't. Sports Guy 10 watching from Minnesota. Appreciate you, as always, for kicking us off here on the ICCU YouTube chat. We love the comments, the questions, and as we're talking Boise State basketball here, the Broncos. Dylan saying, just hoping the Broncos can keep it close tomorrow. Yeah, that's certainly going to be, I think the spread's going to be 11 or 12. I think the KenPom number has it at 11, 81-70, and Utah State's rolling right now. They got the big win over Memphis. There was a little controversy there with Penny Hardaway talking about the them running up a score a little bit at the end, and the Utah State coach Jared Calhoun saying, "Hey, we've got no choice. We've got to make our metrics look as good as we can." And then afterwards, on his radio show a day or two later, Penny Hardaway had some very nice things to say about playing at the Spectrum there in Logan. Said it was maybe the loudest arena he's ever been to. And for Penny Hardaway to say that, that's saying something. So pretty high praise, high words from Penny Hardaway in Memphis after their loss in Logan. And now Boise State coming off that super tough overtime loss, up by 17 with 8:55 to go, and can't hang on. And I guess the only positive is they had an extra couple of days. Sometimes you only get the 2 days off if you play like a Tuesday or a Friday. Or a Wednesday, Saturday, but the Broncos played Friday, Wednesday, so they get the extra 2 days off to try to lick their wounds a little bit, and they can, maybe have a couple extra days will be what it takes. And I'm not expecting them to win tomorrow. I don't think they'll win tomorrow. Nothing on paper says they should, which is why maybe on the post-game show I'm just laughing because they go into Logan and win. Like, I don't think anyone's expecting it. Could they lose? Are they more likely to lose by 20 than win? Yes, no doubt. It could get ugly, sure. I mean, the Utah State's one of the best teams in the league. But also, like this team has shown, they can lose to anybody, but they can also play and beat almost anybody. And so would it really shock us if Andrew Meadow hits 5 threes and they play great tomorrow and Dylan Andrews has a great game and they somehow have a classic historic game in Logan? Like, would it really shock you? No. I mean, it would certainly surprise us because you don't think they're going to, they're going to try to win as many games as they can the rest of the season. Style points don't really matter anymore. I'm not sure who said that they do. You don't have to look impressive at this one. They matter for Utah State. They don't matter for Boise State. Boise State's not fighting for an NCAA tournament bid, but Utah State is. And so the style points do matter for Utah State. And so that's what I was getting at there. Sorry if that was confusing. Utah State needs to rack up as many margin of victory points as they can, as many big wins as they can. Utah State, because they're going to the NCAA tournament. Boise State is just trying to get the highest seed possible for the conference tournament, which we will talk about when Jay comes on. Penny Hardaway played in the 95 finals, saying the Spectrum's maybe the loudest arena he's ever played in is wild. Yeah. And that's why sometimes when I mention like the atmosphere at Extra Mile Arena and people get on me and say, "Oh, here he is ripping on the fans again." Like, it's more just that I don't think people truly realize you can't truly tell on TV what it's like playing at some of these other road venues in the Mountain West Conference. And so when you go to Logan And when you go to San Diego and you go to Grand Canyon and you go to New Mexico and some of these places, it's just different. It's very special as a basketball fan. Like, it's awesome. Like, for me, I'm going to just soak it in tomorrow night. Like, I love going to the Spectrum. It's a great venue. It's a great arena. I mean, why would you not want passionate fans? Do they at times maybe say some things that are a little, more than a line that I probably wouldn't cross? Maybe. But I mean, who you can't at all fault their passion, fault, I mean, they're wearing surgical gloves at times. I mean, you can't fault the passion. You can't fault how many of them show up tomorrow night. It's going to be a whiteout, I believe, a sellout crowd already. They've already announced it as a sellout. It's a whiteout, 8:30 p.m. start time down in Logan. And so, it's just different. And if you've never been to Logan, you can't really comment on it. If you've never been to San Diego State, New Mexico, Grand Canyon, like it's easy on TV to look at it and say, oh yeah, is it really that good? Like, no, it is. And so it's just different. And when Penny Hardaway says it's maybe the loudest arena he's ever been in, that raises your eyebrows a little bit. Like, okay, yeah, no, it is different. And it's going to be awesome atmosphere tomorrow night because Utah State has a ton to play for, and they're pushing towards a spot in the NCAA tournament and trying to get off the bubble. And Boise State's trying to, fight for their lives in terms of the conference seeding for the conference tournament. So bring in our man Jay Tust, Bronco Studios. And Jay, we're talking about this game tomorrow night. Obviously, two teams going in, I don't say different directions, but have different goals, playing for different things at this point. And Utah State coming off a massive win over Memphis the other day. There was a little controversy after that one, but Penny Hardaway had some very positive things on his radio show to say about the Spectrum, and certainly another in a long line of tough road games here for Boise State.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier tonight, and the Broncos are going to have to kind of find a way to get it.
Tomorrow night.
Sorry, yes, thank you. Getting ahead of myself. But either way, it doesn't get any easier because now the Broncos have to find a way to get up off the mat after they, seemingly built some momentum. So how quickly can they put it behind them and move forward and, still take the good from when they won 6 out of the previous 7 there. So it'll be a daunting task, but I mean, if you want to look at it this way, what a freaking opportunity, man. Like, if you want to write your season and get some momentum and prove that you can beat anybody in the league, going into Logan and beating Utah State would certainly provide you that type of confidence if you can go do that and conquer that atmosphere.
Yeah, and I like giving our buddy Greg Frank a lot of crap sometimes, but he actually asked a good question in the postgame, and I was about to ask a similar question, but he beat me to it. And he mentioned the we lost Jay for a second. Oh, where you at, Jay?
Just coming right back.
All right. But we were he was asking a similar, he asked about the air coming out of the balloon a little bit. I mean, when you blow a 17-point loss and there was so much momentum going in the right direction, there was a lot of hope. And if you would have got that win, you would have felt so much different going into tomorrow's game. And he phrased it kind of letting the air out of the balloon. And how do you kind of keep this from, kind of spiraling again back in the other direction? Because that is a very deflating loss for a team that really was playing better basketball and moving in the right direction. I mentioned before you came on, Jay, they do have the extra 2 days. Typically, sometimes it's only 2 days off between games or 3 days off. Typically, they had 4. So maybe the extra day helps a little bit to put it behind them. But obviously, that game that, up 23 in the first half, up 17 with 8:55 to go, that certainly did kind of, put a little bit of a damper on the outlook for the season and the progress they've been making.
I mean, man, it was like San Diego State, but the exact opposite of it, right? Like, I mean, this team has proven at times they can be dominant against really good teams. And there are other times where that is not the case. So, you go back to their road game at Viejas. They're down 42-18, and they forced 3 overtimes. Had a chance to finish it off, a couple of times there. Couldn't quite do it, but like they could be outscored by 25 points, but then that means that they at one point in time they outscored San Diego State by 30 on their home floor. They were up 23 on UNLV. Well, then at some point in time they allowed UNLV to get back in it, and they went on a tremendous run. And it just, I don't know, man. If the team can put it together, like I still think that they can contend with anybody in the league, but it's just a matter of making it all sync up and work for 40 minutes on any given night. And they just can't quite find that consistency yet.
BSU Bill saying 2 straight home games, blowing a 20-point lead, having to go to OT. Unacceptable from Leon and company. Can't blame the fans for that. The Nevada game had a big lead. That went to overtime. They were able to hang on. But again, Gibbs Lawhorn had something to say about that run there. He had a personal 10-0 run in 1 minute and 14 seconds. A 17-point deficit goes to 7, just like that. And then it's kind of game on with, 6-7 minutes still to go. But just that was a pretty unfathomable end of the game there, Jay, to be up 17. And as BSU Bill says, that is a couple of games. You can go back to the St. Mary's game where they had a big lead. That has been – Leon didn't love the question in the post game, but, I think that's a fair – they have had a little bit of trouble hanging on to some big leads here.
It's – you probably – man, I love my stats. I would love to know Leon's record when he builds a 20-point lead in a ball game. I would assume they're pretty darn close to unbeatable. And even this year, you mentioned those games, they did win 2 out of those 3, but
Montana State too. I think they had a big lead and then barely hung on and won that one by 4 or something. It has happened. I
remember the size of that lead, but
there's been some games this year where they've let some big leagues slip away.
Yeah, that might be the case, but again, it just kind of goes back to maybe some of the inconsistencies. And I still think it's a really talented roster. Again, you want to talk about the pieces of this team, man. It's a talented roster, but they're just trying to figure out a way to push the right buttons and get everybody to, be in sync, like I said, for 40 minutes at a time. And it just hasn't quite been, as easy as many probably, thought it would be. And, Leon's pretty good at pushing buttons, man. He's pretty good at building culture and you can still see him trying to push the right buttons and right when you right when you think you got it all, you have a lapse like you did in the UNLV game. And, it's just a lot of the guys saying after the game, man, they lost their defensive intensity. And I think that Leon made a good point after the game too, that there was a key series there where, Boise State was called for an offensive foul, a 3-point field goal is wiped off, and then they go to the other end of the floor and Gibbs Lawhorn gets fouled shooting a 3, and he makes all 3 free throws. And it was game on from that point in time. He saw the ball go in the bucket and he hardly missed the rest of the way. That was a historic effort by Gibbs Hawthorne. That was the most points scored at Extra Mile Arena in the Leon Rice era. I believe it's tied for the 3rd most in the last 20 some odd years by an opponent against the Boise State men's basketball team. Those performances are pretty rare. They do not happen very often. And, we saw Nick Clifford have a similar showing last year right at the end of the regular season. But, Nick Clifford's he was a bona fide NBA talent. I'm not saying Gibbs Lawhorn isn't by any means, but Nick doing it was a little less surprising, I would say, than, allowing 69 points over 2 games to Gibbs Lawhorn, which, by the way, those 69 points are the most scored against the Broncos in 2 games in 2 games in the Leon Rice era in a single season. So I believe Nick has the record 80 points last year. So, either hopefully they avoid UNLV or, do a better job, which, again, the guys after the game said, I think it was Peanut that said, we knew what we had to do and we didn't keep the ball out of his hands.
Yeah. And I'm tired of doing this, Jay. That's 2 years in a row I've had to text you and say, what's the highest points ever by an opposing player in here? That's happening a little too much here lately.
Well, it is. I will say this, it already makes me forget about Corey Camper a couple of weeks ago, how he came into Extra Mile and had 33. So, I think that over time, it's hard to argue with the collective body of work of the home field or the home court advantage of Extra Mile Arena, man. It is a hostile environment. It is a tough place to play, but I almost liken it to the football team a couple of years ago. In order to get back who they were, you got to defend the blue. And there were, during the Andy Avalos era, there was a couple of years there where maybe they didn't defend at the clip that we're all accustomed to. And they started to get that right these last couple of years where they did defend it at a high rate. Well, I'm still saying this is an anomaly, man. You can look over history. Boise State basketball loses a game or 2 sometimes they don't even lose at home, right? So, I mean, this definitely feels like an anomaly, but in order to get back to being who you are and being the best at what you do, like it starts with defending the X and playing really good basketball at home.
Yeah, back-to-back comments. Boise Squid says Broncos have allowed many, quote, career days for opponents, and then right away, Bronco 130. Jay, how many career games have Mountain West guys had against us? I mean, that Gibbs Lawhorn is a heck of a player. I mean, I saw somebody say Josh Pastner out-coached Leon. Like, I guess in some areas you could maybe say that, but let's just kind of also call it like it is. Like, Gibbs Lawhorn went off and hit some incredible shots, and I mean, the defense hasn't been good enough. That's 4 games in a row they've allowed at least 80 points. You keep waiting for it to kind of turn. The offense has turned. It's one of the better offenses in America the last month. But the defense, Jay, I get it. Like, the guy hit tough shots. Yeah, you tip your cap at some point. It was, he hit some crazy shots, but also like just too many open threes that teams are hitting. Too many guys kind of going one-on-one and getting to the basket pretty much at will at times. Like, it just seems like for whatever reason, the defense has not been a Mike Burns typical, hold teams in the 50s, 60s defense, and that's really cost him here lately.
I also think they're just trying to figure out who they are still. Like, at one point in time in the season, like, the defense was what was winning them games, right? And then the offense was struggling, and then maybe they make some changes there, and now the offense kind of carried them lately, and the defense is struggling. So I think that maybe they're still trying to search for who they are, and I just don't know if there's a better way to describe it. Just like getting in sync on both ends of the floor for 40 minutes at a time, because when they can do that for even spurts, like, they're really, really good. And no, I don't want to overlook the first. I mean, I had this on my show yesterday, just like looking at like the first, I think it was 13 minutes and 13 seconds of the game, BJ. Boise State's up 32-9. Boise State is 11 of 20 from the field. UNLV is 3 of 18 from the field. It took UNLV, I believe, almost 17 minutes, about 17 minutes to get their first points in the paint in that game. And so, like, there were some things on defense that Boise State was doing incredibly well for the first, almost half of that game. And then that spurt where UNLV found some confidence going into the locker room, where a 23-point deficit went down to 11. And even kind of looking up at the scoreboard at that time, I thought, like, man, so much of that first half went good. It felt right. Like, really impressive first half. But looking up and only seeing an 11-point lead, it was just like, man, it feels like it should be a lot more than that, And, I think they pushed it back out to 17 at one point in the second half. But as you said, man, Gibbs Lawhorn got hot and let him back into that game. And, certainly there may be some lapses on defense. But, man, that dude, you go back and look at the highlights. He also made some tough shots. And I'm not trying to drum that up as an excuse or anything like that, but like, sometimes a pitcher throws you his best off-speed pitch and you swing right through it and miss, even though it's coming, and you tip your cap and you go back to the dugout. But unfortunately, that doesn't make a 30 or 86-83 loss in overtime on your home floor. Like, it doesn't make it feel any better, because you needed that win. Yeah, and man, you really start to project this thing out for the Mountain West tournament, BJ, and Boise State's picking about the most difficult path possible.
We'll get to that in just a second, because I have a graphic with the tournament if it started today to play in 1 second. But what you said about the first half, I know Leon said that in the postgame, and I totally agree. I mean, they were up 23 at one point, and to let them get it back to 11 at halftime, I thought that was a big – because how many times are we on the other side? I mentioned this to Abe on our postgame show. How many times is Boise State down 17-18? You're like, well, if they can just get it to around 10, you'll feel like you have a chance in the second half, and that's exactly what UNLV did. And to cut off 12 points in the final 8-9 minutes, I thought was big for them to go in only down 11.
BJ, I mean, watching that game, and again, that media timeout where Boise State was up 32-9, and they're coming off a bye. They look fresh. There was a play where I don't even think they scored on the possession on offense, but they were hustling around. They grabbed like 3 offensive rebounds. They saved the ball from going out of bounds or deflected it off a UNLV player. I can't remember exactly, but just like watching the intensity and how fast they were playing, I was like, man. they've won 6 of 7. They hit the bye at the right time. They clearly look fresh. They're just absolutely crushing.
Oh, Nathan and Johnny were sitting next to me saying, this team's going to win out. This team's going to win out.
I thought it to myself too. I'm like, if this team can do this, man. But then we sit here today after a loss, and I'm still holding on to that. Like, for some reason, whatever. Like, it is what it is. I've seen them do it now.
Yep. But it was the perfect microcosm, Jay, of this season. They have stretches where they have games, and we even talked about it before this game. They have halves where you don't know, like Grand Canyon, first half, pretty good. Second half, get blown out. Like they have halves or stretches. I mean, they had back-to-back games with 18-0 runs at one point, Jay, and they go on stretches where they look just unbeatable, and then they go on stretches where they look like they and have proven they can't beat a Division II team. Like it is pretty crazy. The ups and downs of, I mean, you've been here a year or two before I got here, but I don't remember as many stretches where it's just been so Jekyll and Hyde, so hot or cold. I saw somebody on Twitter did like a tiers of the Mountain West or whatever, and they had like, NCAA, whatever, title contenders, hanging around, whatever. And then for one of it just said, never know which team's going to show up. And the one team it listed was Boise State. And I kind of chuckled because I was like, it is pretty crazy how they look so good one game and just the next game it's so different. I mean, so different than the next. Yeah. And halves and stretches, 8-minute stretches here and there. I mean, like you said, you're up 17 with 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's not even just collective efforts. It's stretches, it's runs, it's moments, and that's why. I mean, I'll say this: I don't think I ever remember covering a boy. Well, it rarely happens that Boise State's in 7th place in the Mountain West Conference. But my point to that is, if in years past, if I was covering a Boise State team that was 7th in the Mountain West, realistically, I'm probably not giving them much of a shot to go to Las Vegas and do damage. But I know I still got to formulate my opinion over the final stretch run here of the regular season. But as I sit here today, I still don't see any reason why they can't go to Las Vegas and put it together and make a run. Like, at some point in time, this team's going to have to play their best basketball of the season for a nice little stretch here. And I think we saw glimpses of that there for a minute, but I still don't think that this team is peaked against peak competition. And if they can do it, they're going to be really, really good. But it's probably time we start to stop talking about ifs, and hypotheticals. Like it's got to happen.
Yeah. And by the way, the 4 overtimes they've played this year, Jay, first time since 2015.
Yeah.
You have to go back over a decade when they've played 4 overtime games. They are 1-3 in the overtime games. They are, I believe they've had 2 other losses. I think they have 5 losses this year, either in overtime or by 1 possession. And so, I mean, sometimes like that year, a couple years ago where they won the league, they had Marcus Shaver, like they hit every big shot and they won every close game. This year, Dylan Andrews, I mean, as great of a run as he's been on, Jay, like Leon was getting a lot of criticism on my post-game show for not calling a timeout there at the end when they got the rebound with 12 seconds left. But you watch the way it played out. I mean, you had the ball in your best player's hands, the national player of the week from multiple people. He won the Lute Olson Award. He won some other national awards last week, and he gets downhill and he ends up having essentially a wide open layup. I think he was a little nervous because they'd been blocking some shots lately. And so he, instead of going right to the rim, he kind of floated it up from the side. But I mean, the angle I had, I mean, there's nobody within 5 feet of him, and it just didn't go. He just missed the layup, missed the shot or the short shot. And you know what? Like some years those shots go in, some years they don't. And he's obviously had 3 of them. The Hawaii Pacific game, he had the San Diego State one at the end of regulation. He's had a couple with a chance to win the game. He obviously hit the big one against Nevada. But sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. And I don't know if they could have drawn up a better play in a timeout, Jay, than to get Dylan Andrews driving down the lane, essentially wide open. The shot didn't fall, but I mean, just some years, all the close shots go your way. I think that one year, that in 2022, I'll have to check the numbers, but they had a ton of close games that they just were on the right side of. This year, they've had a lot of close games they've just been on the wrong side of.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, man, the timeout thing is so easy after the fact to guess. And I think if you go back over years, man, there are timeouts that I probably would have said, hey, take it there. But you're talking about a situation where UNLV just had a chance to put the game away at the free throw line. They miss. and now you get the ball. And I just feel at that point in time, you might have UNLV on their heels a little bit. And I probably try to take advantage of the scramble versus calling a timeout and allowing, UNLV to just regather there and dig back in to try to get one last defensive possession. Now, that being said, UNLV still got the stop, but this is one of those times where I go like I don't know. I don't really second guess that decision, to be honest with you at that point. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I'm trying to see if I've got the right I've got a clip here. That's not the right one. I'll try to find it real quick. I don't call it that. That's like one of the easy criticisms that Leon Rice gets every single time is that he never calls timeout. And his whole deal is, hey, why would we let the defense set up a defense? You're in a scramble mode. Just go.
I truly believe in that.
No, that was when they got the two. This was the killer too, Jay. The 2 offensive rebounds. They got the first one there, which was a huge killer, and then they're running down the clock here, and then they give up this putback dunk. I mean, that was. Again, the defense, 2 chances in the final minute of overtime. They couldn't get a rebound.
I mean, we know how big rebounding is to this team's success.
They just box out the wrong guy. He's wide open. He hits the shot there. Yeah, I'll see, Jay, if I can find it here. But I didn't have a huge problem with that one. So there are times where they do, Jay, as everybody knows, and we've talked about it. But there are times where, you watch it and they end up not
one of those times. This isn't one of those times for me. It just not. Like, I think sometimes.
Here you go. All right, so it's super loud. He goes for the free throw here. 13.3 seconds left, Jay. Misses the free throw. Boise State able to get the rebound. You got the ball in your best player's hand with 10 seconds left. I mean, and what was the criticism in previous times? That he would kind of pull up and not drive to the rack and try to get a foul call or something. The defense kind of overplays him. He breaks it. And, I mean, once he gets by Jones, and maybe you could have called a bump. I don't know. You're not going to get that call. But once he gets to right there, I mean, Dylan Andrews driving to the rim and from 5 feet away, you're not going to get a better shot than that if you waste a timeout.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Great job by Peanut to come up and get that rebound, by the way. I just don't think I don't think you said it, BJ. I don't think that you're going to call a timeout and necessarily get something better than that. So I think the timeout argument is just kind of irrelevant if I'm being honest. But
and he was
and I will say that the guy that was defending him, number 6 for UNLV, that guy made some big defensive plays down the stretch for UNLV protecting the rim. And so, you could understand why DA was, trying to.
Buchanan got blocked on an easy one. It looked like he had a layup, and then Fielder, when they reviewed it for the goaltending, there was a couple huge blocks late in that game. And that's something that I don't know what it is. I brought this up at some point earlier this season, Jay, but Boise State, for whatever reason, it's gotten a little better lately, but they're still 182nd in the country in block percentage. I mean, 9.7, like 1 in every 10 shots gets blocked, and that ranks 182nd. It was in the almost 300, so it's gotten a little better, but they still seem to get too many shots blocked down on the interior. And when you flip that around, they're 293rd on defense in terms of blocks. They just don't block any shots either, which is another issue. But I didn't have a problem with it. He got a shot. He was like I said, a month ago, maybe even 3 weeks ago, you'd have had a problem with Andrews having the ball in his hands there. But the last couple ways he's played, he had earned that chance at that point. And it's an easy cop out. Let's blame Leon. He didn't call a timeout. But you would not have got a better another. And that's what Leon says. Don't let the defense get set up. It's kind of a free for all. They're not set. They don't know what they're doing. Just go. And you had a guy that got to the rim, and he just missed about a 5 foot.
If anything, when you put the highlight on, especially from the angle you had behind, you can see it was a wise idea just to let it go. And they're talking about him fading
away to the left. But like you said, Jay, I think the reason for that was in the last 2 minutes, I think they had 2 shots blocked, and they had a couple guys with just ridiculously long arms. And don't forget, the first time they played at UNLV, I think it was Jones that blocked A.G. Nato on a drive in the final 30 seconds of overtime. And so I think that was probably in Dylan's head a little bit.
And that was one of those things too, where Leon brought that up, in the pregame press conference, where I mean, he's talked about that play a number of times this year where it's just like you wonder like how he even gets to it. Like it doesn't even look real. And he got to it and he blocked the shot. And what coach said that UNLV is the most athletic team that they've
Ali Farouk Namesh, who's the head coach at CSU, but has also been an assistant there for like 6 years.
Yeah.
He said in his 5-6 years in the league, after they played them, that was the most athletic team that they've played against in this league.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, now all I can do is move forward. I mean, UNLV's got a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde in them as well, but they obviously ended on a high note and got a big road victory.
All right, so let's take a look at the standings and what the bracket looks like here, Jay, in just a second, and kind of break out what would look like if the tournament started today. And then I want to finish up briefly about getting your thoughts going to Logan tomorrow on that game. But I do want to thank a couple sponsors that make this show free of charge, and that includes our title sponsor, Jim Sturk, Lithia Ford of Boise, lithiafordofboise.com. Perfect time to buy that new or pre-owned Ford vehicle. Jim Sturk and the company ready to help you out. They've got the NIL deals, Ben Ford, Matt Wagner, Roger Carrion. They've got some female student athletes as well. So when you're ready for that new vehicle, again, pre-owned vehicle as well, think Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online at lithiafordboise.com. Sun Cruiser, whether it's an iced tea vodka, lemonade vodka, enjoyed a couple of those over the weekend. Hope you guys have tried Sun Cruiser. If you haven't, you're missing out. I'm not even a huge iced tea fan, but you don't really taste the iced tea. It's tremendous flavor. Sun Cruiser, again, available at your local Jackson's or grocery store. Pick up a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Hey, we mentioned Pearson Carmichael, Idaho Central Credit Union. They're donating $25 to the Idaho Youth Sports Commission for every made free throw there at Extra Mile Arena this season. So whenever you see a free throw go in, you see the ICCU logo come up on the screen. We appreciate Idaho Central Credit Union. They always give back to a number of local high schools and things, and with the new scoreboards. And I mean, Jay probably hasn't been to a high school around town that doesn't have a ICCU logo on the scoreboard up there. So Idaho Central Credit Union, we appreciate them. And shout out to the women's basketball team. Must be good luck to come on our show, by the way. Libby Hutton comes on Friday, hits the game-winning shot on Saturday. Jay had a great interview on Bronco Studios with Libby on Monday. Hopefully you guys go back and check that out. But again, Natalie Pasco, one of the many ICCU NIL deals that they have. So Idaho Central Credit Union online, ICCU.com. Hope on Sunday you took advantage of the 75-cent fountain drink. I tweeted it out. I went to Jackson's near my house. Used that Let's Go Rewards app, got the 75-cent fountain drink since the Broncos scored 75 points. Again, any game, they score 75. 2 days later, you get a 75-cent fountain drink from our friends at Jackson's. And if that weather keeps getting a little colder here, don't forget about the 99-cent coffee or hot chocolate using that Let's Go Rewards app. Just 99 cents when you use your Let's Go Rewards app. Hey, Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. Saw Stan Nicolason and the crew at the game. SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, appreciate their support, whether it's the crispy chicken strips, whether it's the breakfast quesadilla, maybe the Cantina Bowl. If you want to go low carb like me, you can sub in the extra lettuce for the rice and beans. But so many great options at Taco Bell. It's cheap, it's delicious, it's fast. Taco Bell, visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. And right there near where Jay is, I'm sure they're customizing a Dylan Andrews jersey for somebody right now. They're in the Hall of Fame, whether it's a player jersey, basketball, football, they can do that in minutes for you there at the Allen Noble Hall of Fame location. They have the 14,000 plus hats on the hat wall there at the mall location, or order anywhere in the world online, theblueandorangestore.com. The best selection, the best prices, the official in-venue provider of Boise State merchandise is the Blue and Orange Store, online at theblueandorangestore.com. All right, Jay, I'm going to see if I can do this and have it look. I tried to create a little thing earlier. We'll see what it looks like here. All right, so here we are. Here, how about that? That doesn't look too bad. This is it's kind of small. I took this off somebody off Twitter, but this is the map. If the Mountain West Conference tournament started today, this would be the map, the route for Boise State. You mentioned the 7 seed, Jay. They would have to play Wyoming at 6 o'clock in the opening round, and then they would get the number 2 seed, San Diego State, in the quarterfinals. If you can get to the 6th seed, somehow you would get San Jose State in the first game, and then New Mexico, who you've beaten twice, in the second game. So on paper, it would look like a little better matchup if you can get to the 6. But those are also the dreaded 9:30 Boise time starts. So you'd have 3 in a row if you're the 6th seed. 8:30, which usually means 8:45, 9 o'clock, with the other game goes long. But Jay, this is up to the minute here. What's your take on the current outlook if the Mountain West tournament, which starts 3 weeks from today, if it started today?
I mean, I'll say this. and I mean, we're splitting hairs here, obviously, but if I was going to have to pick a half of the bracket to be on, I would actually pick this half of the bracket if you're Boise State. I think that, it is what it is. Grand Canyon got them twice this year. If you can put them on the other half, maybe avoid them as long as you can. That's obviously not the way that Boise State would think about it, but if you're just looking at it from the outside, like I would say put them on the other half, avoid them as long as you can. And then, Utah State, I think it's an interesting matchup. But if you want to avoid them until the championship game, I don't think that's a terrible thing either. I know that San Diego State's good. They're rolling right now. It seems like they're finding their stride. But I would, all things considered, I would take my chances in that matchup. And then, if it ends up being UNLV, man, it would be really big to get to the 6. I think if you can get to the 6, I think you go into the New Mexico game with some confidence because you beat them twice this year. It's so funny, man. Like UNLV or New Mexico, they've beaten some good teams. I mean, they smashed Grand Canyon, and yet Boise State's 2-0 against the Lobos this year, right? So I just think that if you're trying to pick a path there, it's not easy to beat a good team 3 times in a year, but I'll take my chances with it. But if you could somehow get to that 6, I think that's big, because I think you're going to have to exhaust a little bit more energy trying to put away Wyoming in that opening round than you would a San Jose State.
No doubt. That is, and obviously, as we talked about, the 5 would have been the ideal one to play Air Force in the first game. That's probably not going to happen at this point. I'm going to throw the Mountain West standings up here real quick, Jay, also because let's see here. I guess I got to take this down. Can I make this full screen? All right. So you look at the conference standings here, Jay, and then KenPom also has the projected conference standings. It projects Boise State will end up finishing tied with UNLV at 10-10. And as you just talked about, UNLV now holds that tiebreaker. So going to need UNLV to slip up again at some point here outside of what they're expected. I mean, that projects UNLV to go 2-4 in their final 4 games here, which seems pretty crazy. I would, without even looking, think UNLV can go 2-4 in their final 6 games here without even looking who they play. So, as you said, the path, because you lost the Grand Canyon tiebreaker and the UNLV tiebreaker, the path to finish, frankly, anywhere higher than 7th does appear like it's not going to be easy.
I mean, yeah, and anywhere higher than 6 is, I mean, I don't 6th or higher, I should say. So, this is kind of the situation they put themselves in, though. So it's time to prepare, and maybe you can catch a little bit of a break and finish ahead of UNLV. If not, though, then you're looking at the stretch you're going to have to roll through in order to make an NCAA tournament. But I'll say this too: you at this time of the year, and once you start winning a game or two at the Mountain West Conference tournament, you're not going to get lucky and run into a bad team. Like you're going to have to beat good teams.
Would you rather? Do you think they have a better matchup against New Mexico, though, than San Diego State, or do you want to wait and see them play San Diego State again?
I probably want to wait to see them play San Diego State again, but it's hard to say that. I mean, they've beaten New Mexico twice, so I think you would rather have that matchup. And I'm assuming it's going to be hard for it. I mean, right now it seems like Utah State or San Diego State's they're going 1 or 2 in some order. I'm not exactly sure, but in some order that's going to happen. It's kind of funny if Boise State goes to Logan and beats them, then that actually might better their chances of facing the Aggies down in at the Mountain West tournament.
Oh, if they fall to the 2 or
3. But that being said, Boise State still has to host San Diego State this year, so they can dictate a lot, I guess, in terms of that.
I will say this, like somebody put if the Big 12 bracket started today up, and I saw it, and it was like they said one of Texas Tech, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas, or who's the other really good team I'm forgetting. The top 5 are all ranked in the top 20 or whatever. Like one of them is going to have to play on the Wednesday. And it's similar. I mean, you look at the 4 teams: Utah State, Nevada, San Diego State, New Mexico. Like all 4 of those are solid teams this year. And you look at Grand Canyon having to sit there in the 5 seed.
Boise State, man, they might, without really looking or going too far into it, they're one of the best 7 seeds. They would be one of the best 7 seeds to roll into the Mountain West tournament.
In terms of KenPom rankings and stuff, I would bet you're, I don't know about record, but if you go KenPom ranking, and that probably takes a lot of research, I would not imagine if they finish 7th, there's too many top 60 KenPom teams that finish 7th in the Mountain West standings.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, San Diego State was 5th last year in the standings, and they obviously had the highest project, for the tournament, got the best seed and all that. But Yeah, no, we'll see when Wyoming comes again. They've got a couple decent players. They're playing tonight against Fresno. Fresno's without Highbrighter. That spread was like 8.5. I think I saw tonight for Wyoming at home. They come obviously is that Saturday or is that the following Saturday? Who's this Saturday for the home game? Is it San Jose or Wyoming?
San Jose State is this Saturday.
Okay, next Saturday is Wyoming, or Tuesday is Wyoming. Back-to-back home games. Yeah. So I knew it was coming up here. So we'll find out. But frankly, Jay, I mean, Wednesday. I mean, tomorrow night in Logan. It is what it is, right? They're going into a really tough environment. They already got blown out. I mean, I would actually probably, I don't know what the odds would be on this. Probably not great, but I mean, you would probably some of the people. They lost by 23 at home. They'll lose by 30 on the road. I would actually, if I had to predict, like I don't know if this is a bold prediction or not, but they'll lose by less in Logan than they lost in Boise. Is that fair to at least say?
Oh, I think that's it. I mean,
I'm guessing there's a decent amount of people in the chat.
Mostly because the margin here was pretty one-sided.
I know, but I'm guessing there's a lot of people in the chat that just assume, we lost by 23 at home. We're going to lose by 35 in Logan. But I would suspect the spread's 10. The spread's 10. Like, I think that's probably about I don't think they get blown out down there. I think maybe the final score is 15, 16. Maybe you call that a blowout if that ends up being that. But it would not shock me one bit if we look up with 9 minutes to go in the game and they're down 6 or 7.
You said the spread's 10?
The KenPom number's 11. Yeah.
I'd like to know the last time Boise State was an 11-point dog in a Mountain West game. That's been a while.
Well, if anybody could look it up, you'd be the guy that could probably figure that out somehow.
Take it, but
what do you make, though, I guess, of the matchup? As I mentioned, just a little bit of the air did kind of fall out of Boise State's balloon in terms of fan excitement and things. Not a lot of people expecting it to be much of a game down there, which is why it may very well be. But sellout crowd, they're having a whiteout. What do you make of just tomorrow night's game?
House money. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why you go down there playing with any pressure. Obviously, you just said not a lot of people are expecting you to win. Go down there, play one of your best games of the season, and try to get a big win. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's what I would say. You have a chance to test yourself in a hostile environment on the road, and it could be a huge momentum building win. And time to look at the opportunity, not the obstacle.
Boise can't beat any of those teams. Well, I think they've already actually literally beaten a couple of them, right? They've literally beaten Nevada. They've literally beaten New Mexico
twice. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, they didn't beat who they already lose. So we just talked about UNLV and Grand Canyon, but I mean the top 4, they still have one game left against. They haven't gotten swept yet by any of the top 4 teams. So
correct.
We'll see. I mean, San Diego State at home is certainly a little more of a winnable game, but KenPom does project, Jay, for Boise State. We mentioned 10-10. Has them losing by 11 and then beating San Jose, beating Wyoming, beating Fresno, although the Fresno game's only a 3-point margin because they're playing much better at home and they're better this year. But then it has a 1-point loss to San Diego State at home and a 1-point loss to Colorado State on the road, literally by the same score in both games, 72-71. So has them going 3-3. 2 of them are 1-point flips that could go either way that are losses. The aggregate is 18-13, 10-10 overall as well. So
4-2.
Would you take? I mean, 3-3 is the projected record. Jay, are you going high? Can they? I mean, can they do better than that here to finish out the season?
I think they. Yeah, I think they can.
Can you get to 4-2?
Yeah, I think you go 4-2. You're happy with that. If you can go 5-1 or better, you're ecstatic.
If you get to 4-2, that puts you at 11-7. And you look at UNLV's remaining schedule. They're at home tonight against Colorado State. That's only projected as a 1-point win. They go to Air Force, which is obviously going to be a win. But then they're at Grand Canyon, projected loss. Home to Nevada, projected loss. Home to Utah State, projected loss. And at San Diego State to finish up the season. So they do have a very tough final stretch. They're projected UNLV to lose their last 4 games at KenPom. So I said 2-4 was doable. Tonight looks like the swing game. If Colorado State can and I guess that 2-4, if Boise State goes 5-1, they would still finish ahead of them in the 6th spot. But if Boise State goes 3-3, you would need UNLV to lose tonight to Colorado State and then lose those last 4. So I guess it's not, I wouldn't say it's likely, but there is at least a path there where Boise State could still finish ahead of UNLV. But That's why that losing that game hurts so much, just because of that tiebreaker.
Yeah, UNLV hosts Colorado State tonight?
Yes.
Wow, that's only a 1-point game?
77-76. Because Colorado State is actually 93rd at Ken Palm, and UNLV is still 127th.
Okay, all right.
Sounds like you like UNLV tonight. -1.
I just Colorado State has been playing great basketball, but man, Ken Palm knows more than I do, so yeah.
I'm still mad. He was at the Wyoming game. I didn't go over and talk to him. He was
How'd
sitting courtside. He's a Wyoming grad.
Man, how'd you miss that opportunity?
He's a Wyoming grad, man. I should have done that, but he might be there. I think he lives in like the Salt Lake area. Maybe he'll be there tomorrow night. I did see John Canzano is going to the game tomorrow night, so we'll have some stuff on that. I'll have to see that. But Jay, appreciate your time. I mentioned yesterday's Bronco Studios. You had Libby Hutton on. Did you go? Now my mind's blanking.
Pat McCurry, we had some track and field on.
Track and field, yeah. I almost said cross country. Track and field, yes.
Yeah, so they're doing some cool things on the track right now over at Boise State. They're having some good success. Indoor season's almost over. Mountain West Indoor Championships coming up in a little over a week. But go back, watch that show. Pat McCurry, the head coach, breaks it all down. And Libby Hutton, what a fantastic interview. I know you got a chance to chat with her the other day. Libby's awesome, man. She's such a key piece to this team. And they have 4 seniors. They have game-winning shot. They have 4 seniors in their starting lineup that have scored 1,000 career points. And then they have sophomore Libby Hutton. But Libby's playing at a really high rate right now. And I think that she's actually kind of the person that, man, glues it all together and makes it work. And she had 20 and 9 on the road at Wyoming in a 2-point victory. So, she's awesome. And the women's basketball team at home on Wednesday against Air Force. They're looking to, continue to roll. And a couple more wins, they solidify a first-round bye at the Mountain West women's basketball tournament. So we'll see if they can finish the job here.
I changed my flight, Jay. I changed my flight a little earlier. I was going to go Monday night, but I'm now going Monday afternoon. So if they're in the semifinals Monday night, we'll be down there to cover that on Monday. So I took notice of what they've been doing, and we'll be there in time if they're in the semifinals Monday night. By the way, Kurt says, come on, Jay, you know just as much, if not more, than Ken Palm.
About obscure stuff that doesn't matter, Kurt. I appreciate it.
All right, Jay. Well, we appreciate it. Folks can go back and watch your show from yesterday. You'll be live again. You're working on a President's Day there. I like it. Not many folks were. I know Johnny and Prater weren't. I didn't do a show yesterday, but there's Jay Tust with Bronco Studios, always working. So nice show. Hopefully, folks go back and check that out, and then you'll be live tomorrow at 4:00 as well. I'm sure plenty on the men's game and the women's game tomorrow as well. So thanks, Jay. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Sounds good, buddy.
Jay Tust, Bronco Studios. Make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel, Bronco Boise State Athletics, and Jay does a tremendous job there with a lot of that coverage. And again, he did a show yesterday. You guys should go back and check that out. All right, we'll keep this thing rolling. If you got any other comments, questions, but I do want to thank a couple more sponsors. Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, or an inspection, check out mysignatureroofing.com. Speakpipe.com is where you can leave us a voicemail and a quick check of the Signature Roofing scoreboard. 4 games in the Mountain West tonight. Fresno State at Wyoming at 6:30. That's an 8.5-point spread for Wyoming. Air Force at New Mexico. That's a 27.5-point spread for New Mexico at home. 27.5 points in a conference game. I'd be tempted to take Air Force just because that just seems crazy to me. But Nevada is at San Jose State, still favored by 10.5 on the road are the Wolfpack. And then Grand Canyon is at San Diego State tonight. San Diego State lost on a controversial call to Grand Canyon a couple weeks ago in Phoenix. San Diego State favored by 8.5 tonight. That game is at 8 o'clock Mountain Time on CBS Sports Network. And when it's all done, Tom Moser will break it all down on another night in the Mountain West. You can join live about 10:15 tonight when the final buzzer sounds. Tom Moser is live with another night in the Mountain West, and you can subscribe to our new YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/@Mountain West BNN /@Mountain West BNN. And you can subscribe to our new channel, and Tom Moser goes live every night when there's a Mountain West game after it goes final. So that'll be tonight about 10:15. Watch some Mountain West basketball, get the kids to bed, and then jump on another night in the Mountain West with a Sun Cruiser and chat basketball with us. Hey, Matt Bauscher, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley in the state of Idaho, now in the Northwest. Matt Bauscher He's a proud alum and a sponsor of Boise State Athletics. 252-9877. Check out all their services online at BoucherRealEstate.com. We bought and sold our home from Matt and his team. Loved every minute of it, and you will as well at BoucherRealEstate.com. Hey, Element Fencing, elementfencing.com. Decks, pergolas, fences, cedar, wrought iron, vinyl. Again, all your fencing needs. Let Brady, the owner there, work personally with you to design the perfect fencing project. You maybe been putting it off for a while, but tell them you heard about it on BNN. They'll give you a great deal. Element Fencing, online, elementfencing.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shop ridleys.com is where you can go and just love the hometown feel of a Ridley's. It's not a huge corporate conglomerate where you don't know where you're going. You get great deals and you get a friendly environment and a friendly staff that wants to help you and work for you at Ridley's Family Markets. Don't forget, shop ridleys.com. You can find the locations near you and some of their latest deals. They got locations all across the Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, state of Idaho, and surrounding states. Ridley's Family Markets online at shopridleys.com. Hey, rowpaint.com, 20% off those winter painting projects, whether it's the interior, exterior painting, the concrete coatings. Rowpaint.com is ready to help you out. Rowpaint.com. We appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. All your painting needs. Don't put off that painting project any further, folks. Hit up rowpaint.com. You looking for a new job? How about Transportation Compliance Service? They can help you out every step of the way if you're trying to get into the trucking industry. Maybe you're in between jobs, need something, or you just want something new. Transportation Compliance Service can help you out. Get into the trucking industry. They'll give you all the paperwork you need to sign up for another trucking company, to start your own company, all various options, DOT, overweight, all your trucking needs, all your paperwork. Let the professionals handle it. It's a local company helping out folks all over the world at Transportation Compliance Service online, transcomservice.com. All right, we checked some of the comments here. Let's see. All right, what else we got? Just win, baby. Yep, just got to win. Just got to win. And the 6th seed would be nice, but it's looking like the 6 or 7 at this point. And let's see what else we got. Fresno on the road will be tricky, sneaky trap game. They're not as bad as they usually are. No, they're not. They're not at all. They've got, they're actually not that bad at all this year. Fresno State and Boise State only plays them one time this year. They are sitting at 122 at Ken Palm, which I would have to guess is their highest here in a couple of years. They are at 6-8, already 6 conference wins for Fresno this year. But they are only projected to win one game the rest of the season. That's a San Jose State home game. Give Vance Wahlberg credit. Tonight they're in for it though, probably against Wyoming, because I think I saw Highbrighter is not going to be playing, and that's going to be tough for Fresno tonight at Wyoming. But then they have a home game against New Mexico. They go to Colorado State. They've got Boise State at home, and they still play at Grand Canyon. So tough finishing stretch for Fresno. Probably only a couple wins left on there. But I do agree that Fresno certainly is going to be not kind of typical go into to Lawrence or to Fresno and win big there. Again, tomorrow night, not maybe the excitement or the hype that it would have had if they had won the UNLV game, but tough loss. And this team typically responds. That's one thing about a Leon Rice team. They typically respond to adversity, and they're still 6-2 in their last 8 games. Obviously, getting up off the mat after that one's going to be tough. Their 4th overtime game of the season. They are 1-3, in overtime. But the 3 previous overtime games, they are 2-1 in the next game. They've come back and responded and won 2 of the 3 over the next games after the overtime game. So I'm not sure that's going to be enough to win tomorrow night, but I do think they're going to compete. This team has shown an ability to finish strong, to put adversity behind them, and 6 games left. And I guess you just don't know kind of the psyche of the locker room. Can they stay bought in? Can they stay locked in? Can they stay all believing on finishing strong here and worrying about, transfer portal and next year and all that later? If that's the case, then this team certainly has the talent to play with anybody in the league. But if you get, if the UNLV loss was just super deflating, and if that's got, causing problems and guys are already looking out the door, and then they could tank and lose, most of the games left on their schedule here. So you just kind of don't know which Boise State team's going to show up the rest of the season. You don't know, if they get down early in the Utah State game, do they just kind of give up and fold and cave, or do they battle and are they all bought in, and do they find a way to at least compete in this game? I don't know if they're going to win the game. I don't think they will. I mean, just obviously is a 10, 11-point underdog. It's hard to say, yeah, they're going to win the game. But I do think they're going to compete, and I think they're going to probably do better than some of you might expect. I mean, they lost by 25 when they played in Boise. I would be surprised if they lost by 25 tomorrow night. I would think they can hang a little closer than that, make it a little more competitive. I don't think they're going to lose by 25. Utah State is very, very good. They're the best team in this conference, I think. And right now, they have the best home court advantage in this conference. And I don't even think that's that debatable. I mean, certainly Grand Canyon is right up there. But in terms of long-standing members of this league, Utah State has been, one of those places. And the student section does a tremendous job there. And the size of the arena is certainly bigger than Grand Canyon. So I would put them 1A, 1B right now. And I would give the slight edge to Utah State and their students at home and what they're doing. And so I think that it's going to be super challenging, super tough tomorrow. And I think I'm not expecting them to win tomorrow night, but I do think they'll compete, and I do think that they'll at least hang around for a while in that game. So let's see. If we got any other comments in here, not seeing much that's worth mentioning. So it should be interesting tomorrow. We'll see. We'll have a morning show, and then I'm going to drive down to Logan after that. So we'll still have our show at 9 a.m. tomorrow on a game day to get you ready. And then I think we're going to try to get John Mallory to join us tomorrow on a Wednesday and get you set for that. And then we'll drive down tomorrow. Leon Rice is talking here in about an hour. So I'll head down to Boise State and get some interviews, and we'll get that posted to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to Bronco Nation News on YouTube. Bronco Nation News on YouTube. It's just youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. We dump all of our press conference videos, all of our other coverage on there. And whether it's press conferences, live shows, all of our content goes, highlight packages all go to our YouTube channel. So subscribe on YouTube and help us get over that 8,000 mark there. And yeah, I get it. Tough season, tough times, not maybe as excited about some of these shows or games or whatever as typical. It goes with the media too, man. Much more fun to cover big games and games that mean a lot and a lot on the line and the standings and all this. Like, it's much more fun to cover that kind of team too. So it's not like the media is having a ton of fun with this season either. But you know what? It's been one of those weird up and down seasons. Nobody expects them to win tomorrow. Maybe they go shock the world and beat Utah State. Who knows? But that's what makes basketball fun. That's what makes sports fun. You really don't know what you're going to see. And with this team, you really don't know what you're going to see on any given night. So, or any given half or any given 5-minute stretch. So looking forward to getting down to Logan tomorrow. But first, we'll talk to Leon today, and we'll have a full show at 9 a.m. tomorrow. 9 a.m. tomorrow, we'll be live to preview this game and get you set on a game day. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you on the message boards. Go subscribe. We still got our 50% off deal, annual subscriptions, 50% off. Chris Van Sickle talked to the 2027 quarterback commit. Boise State has the quarterback committed for the 2027 class. And our man, Chris Van Sickle, talked to him, Mr. Snyder, and we'll get that uploaded today. And I know a lot of recruiting coverage coming from Chris. A lot of analysis. Nathan has a story in there as well that I'll get posted. So if you want full access to all of our coverage, all of our VIP message boards, all of our coverage at Bronco Nation News. Again, we got 3-4 people when you throw in Prater and his columns, writing stuff on BSU. So you can do that at BroncoNationNews.com, and you can get 50% off the annual subscription right now at BroncoNationNews.com. Just click the Join VIP in the upper right-hand corner. We'd love to see you chatting in the message boards. Great discussion here on the YouTube chat. You can keep that going 24/7, no pun intended, on the message boards at BroncoNationNews.com. We have a free football board, a free basketball board, where if you're unable to afford a paying subscription, you can still join for free and hang out and chat in the message boards. And then we also have a VIP board where we drop some of our more interesting, nuggets and breaking news and things like that. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the Mountain West basketball tonight. 4 games. And then join us about 10 p.m. tonight for another night in the Mountain West with Tom Moser. And then we'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Bronco Nation News online, BroncoNationNews.com.
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Kenzie with Boise State Soccer. In Boise, winters show up strong, and so do we. Between work, family, and everything life throws our way, we need a vehicle we can count. That's why I drive a Ford Bronco with all-wheel drive. Right now, during our all-wheel drive sales event, you can get the safety and reliability you deserve. Come check out the full lineup of all-wheel drive vehicles at Lithia Ford of Boise. And when you buy here, you're supporting Boise State Athletics and Lithia Ford NAL partnerships. Come see us at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.